Hi, and welcome to LVI TV. I'm your host, Dr. Heidi Dickerson. ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Do you have it? Do you have a child that has it? Do you know someone else who has it? According to the Centers for Disease Control, it affects about 11% of children. That's 6.4 million kids. It manifests itself as a behavioral disorder, and anyone, regardless of age, race, or IQ, can have it. Although there are a lot of treatments for it,
sit down and study!
Half of these kids will carry the effects of the disease into adulthood. You know what's the most shocking to me? Research shows that adults who are diagnosed with ADHD are up to 4 times more likely to die at an early age. Wow! What on earth is causing this? And can it be stopped? Well, I'm very glad you asked. There's a link between ADHD and sleep apnea. Sleep? What does that have to do with anything? Just think about the last time you didn't get a good night of sleep. Maybe you weren't feeling well. Maybe you had too much caffeine before you went to bed. Maybe you couldn't sleep because you were worried about someone or something. How did you feel the next day? Lousy. You may have been tired, overwhelmed, had a hard time focusing. Maybe you couldn't concentrate at all, had a hard time listening, you weren't motivated to do anything, you were depressed. You weren't able to sit still. Maybe you had a hard time controlling your emotions. Maybe you even had a few outbursts. Isn't it amazing that those things we just talked about are exactly as how ADHD presents itself? You see, if we don't get good quality sleep and good quality oxygen during that sleep, our body, mind, and our soul suffers. Our bodies can only compensate so long, and then things start to break down. These two issues, OSA and ADHD, walk hand in hand. Now this is starting to make sense. Many children are misdiagnosed with ADHD when they have sleep breathing disorders. Sure, the signs and symptoms are those categorized as ADHD, but the cause is obstructive sleep apnea. According to a study from the University of Adelaide, 1 in 10 Australian children suffer from snoring and or sleep apnea that disrupts their breathing. Many of them are diagnosed with ADHD. 50% of chronic snorers who were diagnosed with sleep apnea also were diagnosed with ADHD. Dr. Richard Saul, a Chicagoan, woohoo! As you know, I was born and raised there, and I also went to dental school there. He published a controversial book claiming that ADHD does not exist and is really a cluster of symptoms from 20 other things. The American Academy of Pediatrics says all children should be screened for snoring. What do I think? I think kids need to be screened for signs and symptoms of sleep breathing disorders. Instead of medicating them for ADHD, let's see if the underlying cause really is obstructive sleep apnea. Go to an LVI dentist who is trained in sleep medicine. They will check for snoring, which is a sign but not always present even if you have a sleep breathing disorder. Tongue ties, large tonsils and adenoids, bedwetting, tiredness, allergies, and many other signs and symptoms that let us know your child has a sleeping issue. Perhaps after solving these issues, you will see the nature of your true child come out. Our bodies all need oxygen. We can only live 3 minutes without it. Consider that, and you will realize how important a good night's sleep really is. The best thing is, we can do something about it. Get your child screened today. The earlier, the better. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time on LVI TV.
In a matter of a few days to a few months, they regrow a new one. So how would we do that?
That had problems that I couldn't fix.
I hated to go in that room because I knew I didn't have a fix for them.
4 to 6 extra strength Advil every day for headaches.
I actually went to the emergency room one time in dental school.